And we're back on the Domecast. Now we move to our headliners of the week. Let's start with Colin Campbell of the News and Observer.
And can I interject for a second here? Because there's something that I think is appropriate to do at this very point in the show. I promise you this is not going to be scary. But the way you deliver the phrase, "Who is your headliner of the week?" is something that people generally take a liking to. And I think that's sort of become sort of like a bumper sticker for the Domecast. And I've had this idea in my head for a while, and I kind of laid it down as maybe sort of like a segment theme song. I like to play it for you now, because I think we're at the start of the segment, and I think this is a good time to do it. So, without further ado.
Who is your headliner of the week? Who is your headliner of the week? Who is your headliner of the week? Headliner of the week. Yes.
You mentioned the bell, and there it is.
And the bell. Oh, that's great. Okay, so are we going to mix that into this?
That's my plan.
Okay, that's good. Oh.
Gift to you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Wow. Okay, so Colin Campbell, tell us. I wish I could do that. Who is your? I can't do that.
If someone here could beatbox,
Yeah.
but that person is not me.
Okay, so Colin, who is your headliner of the week?
All right, I'm thinking Marco Rubio. He's going to be in town January for a fundraiser at the home of John Kane, the developer behind North Hills, getting a lot of support around here. But, you know, there's a different headliner that is more of a headliner to Domecast listeners, or at least this is a headline to them. The departure of one Mr. Andy Curlis, who is doing Domecast for the final time after a year of being our editor and the fearless host to introduce this program. So if you've been enjoying Domecast over the past 6-8 months, however long it's been, you've got Andy largely to thank for that. And because of that, I think I'm going to ditch Marco and make Andy my headliner.
That is okay. Andy Curlis is in. That's not allowed. I think we'll just cut all this out. This is not.
You're welcome to disqualify me.
Okay.
It is, your game show.
All right. Okay. So who's next? Gannon. All right, Gannon. Tell us, who is your headliner of the week?
I think it'd be hard to resist Representative Cecil Brockman of High Point, who was pulled over for not wearing his seatbelt and then got into sort of an argument with the troopers who pulled him over, and it escalated into this big, huge story this week. But I'm gonna skip over Cecil Brockman, and I'm also gonna nominate Mr. Andy Curlis, the fearless host of the Domecast, who is leaving for a new position that he'll probably tell you about at some point. And we are all definitely going to miss Andy. So Andy is my nominee as well.
Okay.
Do you sense a trend?
I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know quite what to say. I'm afraid to call on Lynn Bonner at this point.
And you should be.
Lynn Bonner.
Because, libertarians made a pretty good case for being headliner of the week. They've got a full slate of people running for offices, including Sean Haw making a return candidacy for U.S. Senate. But I think there's a place for Andy Curlis and a good reason to nominate the father of Domecast as headliner of the week. He's had a stellar career here at the NNO. Andy, I was around when you took on scientific games and a person who wanted to be commissioner be on the lottery commission, who was also secretly lobbying for the lottery and helping writing the law. So that was just one of the things that you wrote about, Andy, that really helped change the course of the state. So Andy Curlis as headliner of the week.
Okay, and Lynn Bonner really is the creator of the Domecast. I have to correct the record on that. So Lynn Bonner really was the inspiration for the show. So, All right, Craig Jarvis.
My turn. Well, I
tell
guess
me,
you've all guessed by now. I'm not going to go with what I actually told Andy I was going to go with, and I'm just going to go. I just remember months ago when Andy said, "Let's do a Domecast," and I think I said something like, "Why?" And then I might have followed it up with, "Who would listen?" And Andy said, "Let's just have fun with it." And so that was kind of our marching orders, and I think surprisingly, it's been kind of popular in our own little world. And it's been a lot of fun, and it's just kind of the kind of thing that Andy brought to his role as an editor for the State Cap team, and it's been a pleasure to work with him for many years.
Oh, okay, so this guy Curlis is in the hat again. Ben Brown of the Insider, I guess your turn to take a whack at this.
All right, curveball.
Good.
I'm going to pick Andy Curlis
Oh.
as my headliner of the week. You know, Andy Curlis is a name that I knew well before I came to the News and Observer. Definitely, if you're a journalist in North Carolina and you're interested in accountability or investigations, that's just a name you came to know. And it's been a pleasure, an extreme pleasure, getting to work with you for what for me has been a fairly short period of time. I've only been here a year and a half now, but you were actually one of the first people who said, "Hey, let's go to lunch." And in my early days, and just appreciate the welcome, and I appreciate the guidance and the help, and I'm not going to forget it. And I don't want Domecast to go without your cadence of saying who is your headliner of the week, because
Sounds like you took care of that.
I took care of that. So everyone is welcome.
Well, and I was just hoping that you would pick up the bill that day for lunch, so that's why I asked you. Yeah, so has anybody left? Okay, good. Well, so Phil Berger is the headliner of the week, going off out of the hat. No, I guess, so I don't have a whole lot to say. I guess to let folks know that this is my last Domecast, and really what we do here is much more than that. This is the fun part of the job. These folks that you hear from every week, as you can tell, and that's one of the reasons why we do this. You can see that they are actually out there reporting, talking to people who are in the political and government world, and verifying information, which is the most important part of what we do. And so that's been my privilege. So thanks. And that's the end of the show. Who is your headliner of the week? Who is your headliner of the week? Who is your headliner of the week? Headliner of the week.